match auto start. Oh, actually, I'm gonna rewind it and
Sure.
pause it so we can sync it up. It auto started because it was first match. And give me 1 second. We're gonna do SpyParty casting. And perfect. Okay. And I've got the first match ready in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Gotta remember how to do this. It's been a while.
And I've got General Spy alone in a conversation.
Yeah, Tflame starting off slow, just hanging out in a combo by himself, waiting for his idle animation to reset, and probably for Oprah to join a conversation. Going for a flirt at the window after they've been there for a couple seconds is usually pretty risky, as they might, very well leave.
Yeah, and she didn't make a decision fast enough, so we didn't get to either.
Yep. Gonna head back in and pick up first flirt. 34. So here we've got a pretty tight grouping of the party, mostly on the left side of the venue, with Tflame hanging out, just doing some timer flirting. We do have Seek, who's a highlight on the far right side of the venue, away from all of that visual noise, that is currently reading the Green Book. And it's a pretty docile party. Most people are in conversations or standing at windows right now. No statue goers.
Looks like we're going to get a print off of a drink that the Amba just took.
Do you think that do you think that that's a little rushed? Obviously, in time of chaos, you can go for some things that are a little more risky, but the party had settled down a little bit. Do you think that JD is onto that and has tracked that print onto T-Flame, or he should have let that cook, or maybe go for a difficult?
I think he probably knows about it now since we just got the briefcase right after. Um, but yeah, there wasn't much to watch except for Toby, since the ambassador was in the same spot the whole time. Nobody was at statues, so he likely knew that there was a print there.
Yeah, a little bit risky. We get a good looking redirect if JD is watching that and watching for that type of thing. But at this point, we should be a pretty high suspect with finishing, kind of rushing down fingerprint, as you noted. Flirting up to 66%. I do think that it's not a bad idea to, if this is an opponent that you're not extremely familiar with, you've got to test out different things and see what you can get away with. And a spy, you've got to make things happen. So maybe testing his opponent here and seeing, okay, am I going to be able to just spam fingerprints and get away with these? How much am I going to have to cook fingerprints in later matches? And like I said, you've got to take risks at some point. So
Yeah, that's how I like to see people start off a match is just get soft tells that you're not going to get shot for right away. Just make progress and just see what the sniper's going to do throughout the match.
mm-hmm. T-Flame heading over into mid statues and picks up a highlight. We'll be getting our mid statues at 45 seconds, leaving us with needing one more flirt and then a fourth mission, which we will probably see as contact. I do like to see.
Yeah, contact is only going to happen if the double agent cooperates because it is ballroom.
Right, I'd
So
like
it
to
might end up
see.
being Toby.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'd like to
But
see maybe
Oprah
Toby.
doesn't look like she's cooperating either.
Yeah, we're gonna have to flirt and not take a book, or we're gonna have to flirt and take this book from green straight over to blue, which honestly is not that bad of an option on this venue because right now the sniper is likely going to be watching for the swap from wheels, is going to be watching the guest list, and is going to be looking at the ambassador.
That's a pretty good bug, but it is overtime. Oh, but somebody's at
It's
center statues.
Yep, it's overtime, and we've got wheels at center statues, which earns him the shot. And my mouse is doing that thing again where it is invisible.
It's gone.
It's weird though, but because I can look over at Streamlabs and I can see my mouse, so I can just watch Streamlabs to see where my mouse is.
Uh,
I don't know. I might have to do with I started that stream control thing that they have for casting because I was playing around with it. So I don't know. So first point going over to T Flame due to the Civ shot. We were in mission when countdown, and it was a good walking bug.
yeah, I mean, general and it's the arm away on ballroom. That's you can't ask for much better.
Yeah, no, everything worked out pretty well, and we had that book in hand if we needed to do something else, so that works out pretty well. I'm gonna get the next game loaded up, and let me just try and kill this program that I think may be making my mouse disappear if it's still running, which actually I don't think it is. So I don't know. Odd. Okay. Well, I've got the next round loaded up. We're going to have JD as queen. I'm assuming that's what you see.
Yep.
Perfect. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Just hoping that he can follow Irish into a conversation or to a window pad. Get that first flirt.
34%.
I feel like your pacing on ballroom varies wildly depending on if you hit 34 or 51 if you're going for that first flirt.
Right.
Like more so than other venues.
Yeah, it's an interesting thought. Ballroom is not typically a venue that I prefer to play. I often I'll ban it against someone who is very good at it, like Opie. And then other than that, I just traditionally have lower scores. So I don't know. It's a weird venue for me, and for some reason I struggle on it. I think on the sniper side, just due to the occlusion from the conversations and the window frames.
So we're sitting with the double agent, and a lot of people are in conversation. Uh, Kane just leaves. There's a print on that drink right now.
Yeah, low lights was at 3. I think that's at about 4 right now, depending on what happened when he looked away. We pick up our contact. We've still got 2 minutes left. We've got to get 3 more missions. Flirt should be done pretty soon. At this point, we'd like to see JD start working on 3rd and 4th mission.
Yeah, and I think that third and fourth mission is going to make us a high suspect quickly because the only highlight doesn't have a real BB. So Tflamee's probably looking for new suspects right now.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. Overall, not too many things going on from the cast there, but we do have Seek stepping into what looks to be, okay, it's a side statue, but still nonetheless a very suspicious time to start our inspects. JD goes for a wrong hand bug on the way out of books. Tflameee looks away and then realizes that he saw it and takes the shot to bring us up to 2-0 for Tflameee.
Yeah, that's the old regretful arm bug.
Right.
Because that's about as much as you can wave at a sniper.
Yeah, sometimes those are great. I mean, it just really depends on how closely your sniper is watching. I'm not sure of the location of Toby at that point, but maybe try to time that with, Toby being offering a drink to someone. But next game is actually already ready. We're gonna have Tflameee as Seek in 3, 2, 1, playing it. A little
Redirect immediately to
bit. Yeah, that take control was a little sketchy.
I mean, I really like the plan of just pick a spot that you don't have to commit to and see what you want to do, but then he's picking this spot looking, I'm assuming, for a bug. Yeah. Doesn't take, though. She goes the other way.
And by picking a spot, and then you're saying like pick somewhere like a window or a non-conversation pad. That way you have the freedom to kind of leave once your ST settles or whatever.
To leave quicker than you would want to from a conversation.
Right.
And General's going to leave before we can flirt if we try, yeah.
Yeah, looks like we're going to hang out at windows for a moment and then try to chase down General. I'm not sure. Actually, it looks like we're skipping past. We're going to go window to window and idling a little bit. We do go for the green time ad, which I was going to say we kind of need at this point as we have no mission progress. Land the green time ad. We're going to chase General into blue books, and we're going to take the book before flirting.
Yeah, that time ad's pretty huge because we used about 30 seconds to hope for a bug, and then she didn't really cooperate. So now we just gained some of that back.
We did just see a low light on Mom. I wonder what that's for. Is that possibly noticing the green time ad? I'm not sure.
I'm not. I haven't done a ton of Tflameee research yet. I wonder if Tflameee just tends to do middle statues, but that seems like a really risky low light if that's why it is.
Yeah, very bizarre. I was not in the sniper cam, wondering if maybe there was a double agent arrow over or something to that effect, or maybe it was just an etiquette thing that we had both missed. Nonetheless, we've got our seduce already done and still 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So not a terrible position to be in.
No, and having Bug as one of your available missions as Seek on Ballroom is not bad either. He's got pretty good walking Bug if you can get the arm away from the sniper.
Innocent blue return. We are near the ambassador. Let's watch
Might
sniper
be
cam.
another. Nope, doesn't go for it.
Yeah, it wasn't the time to go for it either because if you look, the conversation in the front there was completely open. I mean, it would have been very exposed, and it looks like JD was angled to cover it anyways.
Tflameee just looking for something to do, and
Oh,
oh,
surprising shot from JD, a sieve shot onto Rocker. Rocker had side statues and then just picked up another fingerprint, maybe even had a second, but still very premature in terms of timing on the shot. We could have waited for contact. We could have maybe waited for one of the hard tells to show. So I think JD maybe thought he had a bead on some behavior stuff from Tflameee and ended up being wrong, unfortunately.
yeah, I'm kind of surprised about that too because I know that JD watched Tflamee's last set, and Tflameee was not completing missions. So I'm surprised to see him jumpy.
Yeah, very surprising. I mean, we've certainly all been in those positions where we just feel like we kind of have an understanding of how how your opponent is playing spy. But in SCL, I mean, I think that's one of the big things that can separate the higher divisions from the lower ones is you've got to learn mission counting and patience. Even when you know who the spy is, that doesn't necessarily mean that you need to shoot. You really want to force them to complete missions, not only in case you're wrong, but it also sets a kind of a precedent for the future rounds, upcoming, saying, hey, I'm not going to shoot, so you're going to have to do missions. You can't just sit around, right? So it kind of dictates how they're going to have to play spy to get a shot from you if they want to set up a frame or whatever.
Yeah, it's weird. It kind of flips the pressure
Hmm.
from the sniper to the spy when you're able to hold the shot until they're actually in mission complete.
Right. Okay, I've got the next one loaded up with JD on Plane Twin in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it's 3-0 now, correct?
Yeah, 3-0 Tflameee in the lead.
I don't know how JD does from behind, but that's not what you want coming out of ballroom here.
Yeah, it's a very hard position to be in, but one thing that it's when I'm playing, if I ever get a lead on if it's if it's the first venue. I actually, who picked this one? Is this JD's picks or Tflamee's?
Um,
I
I
couldn't
think
look.
it JD's because you said high rise was the third pick, correct?
Believe so. Draft says
That would have been JD.
this is JD's picks on ballroom, so that's scary. Usually, if you're down 0-3 on your opponent's doubled venue, it's kind of like, well, we'll see what happens when we get to mine. But being down 0-3 on your own venue is going to be pretty hard to overcome mentally. So it'll be a good test for JD to see if he can pull through and get some rounds to exiting 1-3 is not that bad. So what he needs is
No,
the spy win.
and I feel like we see when you lose your own pick, I feel like that second double pick, that person frequently brings it back.
Right. Yeah, that's
Um,
true.
kind of a, I feel like it's kind of a pride thing when that happens.
Yeah, we'll see if it kind of empowers him or if it brings him down. And in the meantime, we're at 34% on our flirt, and we picked up a fingerprint, which I believe was difficult, if I recall correctly. Get our second flirt up to 68.
Yeah, which is likely free, but there's not a ton of time, and double agents not in conversations. Looks like he's going to one now.
We had Mom, who went center statues. T-Flame's been watching. JD here has got to be thinking about his fourth mission. The third is going to be fingerprint. We're going to get contact. We're going to get seduce, but we're going to have to start thinking about our third mission. And it's going to probably have to be a hard tell or a middle inspect, so it might be something that he's just going to worry about once he gets to that point, unless he's going to purloin here. He ends up rejecting a drink, probably waiting for the contact. JD may be waiting for Mom to join a conversation as she has inspects complete and is T-Flame's singular highlight. Interesting decision here from JD to not go for the contact. Looks like he was chasing flirt.
Yeah, now all that time just slipped away. We just lost a full minute.
Yeah, I don't like the choice to leave there. The only reason I was thinking that he was leaving was maybe to go swap for mom, but ends up bailing as he was trying to chase down his ST. We've also idled too long in this convo. We've got a no talk. We called the waiter over. We take an innocent drink. We do
Wow,
have
that's bizarre.
we get our second fingerprint from the drink, so we were possibly setting up for that. I think you've got to go for the BB split into flirt with Oprah and then something.
Banana bread.
We get our contact. I say you stop talking, bail.
Yeah, and I mean, you can walk behind Tex and try to get the bug here. Oh, she came to us?
Yeah, take the flirt, gulp your drink, and do a purloin.
Oh, no.
Yeah, probably going to be a shot anyways. It looks like Tflameee is onto this. Oh, 3 seconds. We might actually be able to enter mission win countdown here.
The cooldown didn't run out yet, though.
Ah, that is very unfortunate. We end the game at a 99% flirt. Um, you hate to see it. That can be very frustrating, especially when you go back and you look at your SCL sets, and sometimes the big difference is something as small as 1% of a flirt.
Yeah, and when you get away with that bug at 10 seconds, it's like that's the game that you're supposed to win as Spy.
Right,
Like that's the game you got.
right. Yeah, that's very unfortunate, but kind of as we were both saying, and give me a moment, it's really hard to scrub through the timeline here because I can't see my mouse, but waiting for the double or waiting with the double agent over there for so long, I just don't think was the move. I mean, right here, as soon as mom, I think you just wait for mom to join a conversation, which I believe she ended up doing, actually joining with the DA. Go for the contact with her in convo. Wait till she's talking, and then go finish up those other missions. I understand that he wanted to get that fingerprint done, but I think contact was a little bit more important. I mean, we got both of those done regardless, but we had to take a very risky bug, and obviously we ran out of time. But we wasted a bit of time hanging out with the DA and not taking contact, and obviously saving a little bit of time here could have probably gotten us the win.
Yeah, I don't really even think that waiting for mom to get into a conversation was necessary.
Yeah, I mean, probably not considering we weren't a huge suspect. I just personally like to, I'll keep track of like who has inspects complete and try to keep them in
Yeah.
just so there's numbers of suspects.
So we're moving on to gallery and it's 4-0.
Yep, 404 Tflameee heading into gallery. I'm loading that up now. And it auto-played. Give me a second here. Where is my mouse? All right, and we're going to have Tflameee as queen in 3, 2, 1, planet. Bit of a twitchy take control from Tflameee there. Tflameee waiting for our ST to come in and settle down so we can take our first flirt. Gonna chase onto this window, this painting pad, pick up our first flirt to 51%. Great start on gallery. Gallery can be a little tricky on getting flirt complete and getting contact done because the two conversation circles are so far apart.
Yeah, and they're filling up right now too, so an early contact could happen, but early contact on gallery is pretty dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, it might not be a bad time, and we've got only a handful of people out. Maybe go for an early contact into a purloin. You're up 4-0, so maybe try to put on the pressure here.
Yeah, and I think you definitely put on the gas now that you got the 2 flirt.
Mm-hmm.
You can just get this mission done and then, I mean, you can inspect, swap, or you can get a purloin and swap. You can finish very quick from here.
Yeah, and gallery is one of those venues that is deceptively the time is deceptive. It feels like you have a ton of time, but because the venue is so long and just the design of it, it takes so much time to get things done. So you've got to be very conscious and be very efficient with kind of your decision making. You don't have much time to waste, even though it may seem like you do.
So I was talking about those lines of how to finish, but it might be that Tflameee doesn't really care. Like he might just be testing to see if he can just do nothing and get Civ shot.
Yeah, I mean it's certainly an option that should be in his mind, right? After JD has a Civ shot. it's certainly something that he can try to play upon. I have a feeling that he's just struggling with pacing right now. We do go for a white purloin. It's zoomed in. The fade is very, very much on screen. JD ends up deciding for the highlight.
And he's got it down to 2 because Irish was the only rejector before, so it's
Gotcha.
going to be really tough to win from here.
And from Tflamee's position, he should be seeing this laser movement and knowing that he just got a white BB and felt, or I'm sorry, a white purloin and felt the laser on him right after. Hopefully he knows that Irish was the one that rejected and he goes for a frame on Irish rather than a mission complete because that's probably his only win condition.
Yeah, especially since she's going to get a mission done right now.
Yeah, I mean,
Only her first visit, but
I think you just go swap for her. I think that would be fun.
yeah.
Kind of double
And
down on the frame.
if it doesn't work, then BB for her.
Yeah. I don't like this decision. I mean, if we're going to go for inspect, which is what this has to be, go for the statues back there and then inspect the statue that she was at and swap it. It looks like we went there to try and get a difficult fingerprint, which we miss. We'll go ahead and pick up at least one inspect, but we're going to be hard-pressed to get that complete. There are a few neutral lights and highlights. It's not just down to Queen and Irish, so maybe we get a bit lucky here. We'll see.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Is there a DA in the front right now? Yeah, there is. So
Go for a walking bug that doesn't stick on screen, but with Queen it's a little bit harder to see. Maybe JD knows and is just showing a little bit of patience.
yeah, I think Tflameee has to banana bread here, even if oh well, now you really can't. Now that she just walked out of the front.
Yeah, and unfortunately this is going to be a timeout unless we see a Civ shot, but it looks like JD kind of maybe learned his lesson and holds his shot in time. We got up to 3 missions, but just wasn't quite enough. So JD getting a point on the board on his opponent's doubled venue, taking us to a 4-1 score.
Yeah, and that's a really important hold when you have such a control on the party and you have it down to 2, to just make sure somebody's going to finish before you shoot when you're down 4-0.
Right. Give me a second. I'm going to turn autoplay off because that is what keeps autoplay next game never. Okay, I don't know. All right. Yeah, what's that?
I said he finally gets one back.
Right. I've got JD as rocker in 3, 2, 1. Playing it. Yeah, we'll see if we can convert this into a spy win. That's typically kind of the point of contention, as we start to get in these divisions where people have a lot of experience. Both of these players have a lot of games under their belt, and it's usually a game of who can get away with a spy win, as their sniper should be pretty clean and catching the obvious hardtails and things of that nature, especially on these venues that are going to require a hardtail or some obvious softtail finishes. It's not like a 3-5 where you can just do contact flirt and then maybe do something very easy just once. We're going to have to do, 2 missions on top of contact and flirt.
Yeah, so we've got Ambassador, no, not coming to us. I thought he might just go ahead and snuggle up next to us and we'd get a free bug.
Yeah,
he still might come past us.
Yeah, I was going to say not a bad position if Ambassador decides to go into blue books and wraps around the back of the convo, but that's just kind of that gamble that you take on Gallery hanging out back there.
And I think he went to the only pad on the map that he wouldn't have had to curve around us for, since that was clogged up.
Right.
So now just 51%, we're going to get a fingerprint off the book. There's still one on the statue that Boots is standing by right now.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if pathing is something that Tflameee looks at, but I think JD just did like a hard 90-degree turn into that green bookcase, kind of stopped and then went over to the side, which could have been a flag for Tflameee. We don't see any highlights, and it doesn't look like the laser's hanging, so probably not noticed. We do fail the difficult fingerprint on the book. We'll see if we drop that in blue.
Looks like we're going back to green with it. And the double agent leaves this conversation, so that's not a mission we can do.
Yeah, and we're very pressed on time. I mean, it looks like a lot of time because it's 1:50, but on Gallery, and all you have is 51% of a flirt. You're going to have to start doing a lot of hardtails, framing, or adding time.
So because he feels that pressure from behind, goes for an action test microfilm on gallery, which is not a very common thing you see.
Yeah, and I believe I was looking from sniper side and didn't notice it. I believe at the moment Tflameee was zoomed out because we've got the Amba in the front. Banana Bread is going to go off.
It's a really good one too.
Yeah, we pick up a handful of lowlights out front, but what is unfortunate for JD is that Disney in general got knocked down, who were highlights, I believe, for inspecting statues. And we had a green purloin go off in the middle of that. T-Flame noticed the take from Mom. It was pretty apparent that it was a green fade, and we take a shot onto Bling Twin, who I think at that point was at the front of the venue. I don't even know if he was anywhere near the purloin at that time.
Yeah, I think both twins were out there.
Yeah, very Oh no, he was in the back of the venue. Let me take a look. Yeah, he was. He was near. He was to the left of Mom. He was just had redirected from the outside and was coming back in. So it could have looked like he was a part of it. He was actually the person that Toby would have probably offered. If Toby was going the other way around the conversation, then it would have been to Bling Twin. And Bling Twin had finished or had gotten some inspects right before that. So I can see the shot, but unfortunately it's not correct. And JD's going to pick up his second point on gallery.
Yeah, and you feel a lot better coming out of the 4-0 when you bring two back. And gallery's one where you can sweep it.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll see how T-Flame answers and if he can kind of break the momentum that JD is building as Irish in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And it looks like the standard for this match, we're going to go to a painting pad to wait to see what people do. And going outside, I wonder if we're going to add time, go into a window pad.
We could have possibly stepped onto the same statue pad as our ST right there and gotten the flirt while he picked up statue, but I think General may have been a little bit too far back. There wouldn't have been room and it would have been a little bit sketchy. Looks like General's going to come to us and we'll pick up our first flirt for 34% out at the front of gallery.
Yeah, and there's almost no reason for T-Flame to be respectful of like flirt pairing out front right now. The ambassador's all the way in the back, hidden behind people. Toby's offering to everybody in that back. Like you can essentially Twitch flirt out front right now.
Yeah, and you've got people at statues. Everything's just really going on. Exactly as you said. You could just bail on this conversation and stand at a window pad for 10 seconds and come back.
Now that's, well, the ambassador's going to turn around because it was full.
We're in convo with the DA. T-Flame may be eyeing up the party to look for a contact. In the meantime, we'll take our second flirt up to 85 and finish it with a stop talk. We go for the BB. It's a white action test. We're going to have Duke and Taft that take a low light. Smallman over at blue, but I'm not sure if JD knows the timing of Smallman's arrival.
JD hasn't looked out front here. Those 5 in that conversation are the only ones with real because Tex was not in a conversation. And I think knowing that there's 5 people that have a real BB on gallery is pretty important as a sniper.
Yeah, BB is a hard mission to deal with as sniper because it gives off so many different types of information, and it really depends on the sniper on what they're going to prioritize. Is it low lights on people outside? Is it who has real? Is it who's talking? There's so many different things to look at, and as you noted, I mean, the obvious answer in this case is just note who has real, and that's only 5 people. But unfortunately, I think he was really focusing on low lights.
Yeah, it's kind of, you can take positive information or negative information from the BB, either accruing suspicion or eliminating. And he just chose to eliminate instead, which, I mean, that's always the safer play.
Yeah, it's hard to, and it's very hard, even if you want to do something different, it's very hard to to change how you react to BB because you don't know when it's going to happen, so it's usually just kind of a muscle memory reaction. But T-Flame's got good progress, actually. Progress on missions is spread pretty evenly across the board. I'd like to see a little bit more time on the clock, but we just need to get one more flirt, finish up our inspect, and find a way to get a fingerprint.
Yeah, and I'm not sure what on the venue right now has fingerprints. It could be nothing right now with where the ambassador's been, mostly just in conversation.
And Ambassador is blessing us with a little bit of luck here. We're going to finish up our flirt at blue. We can dump that book back in blue as an innocent return, and then we could take this fingerprint and inspect at the front statue set to put us in a mission win countdown. It's probably going to have to be the choice, even though it's going to feel a little rushed.
It also will likely be overtime, but I mean, it's still a hard shot, especially if you only know about one of the friends.
Tflameee electing possibly for the bug there. I don't like the decision. I'm not sure if he noticed. We missed the pad. Stepping into statues. Hopefully there's enough time to actually get the fingerprint and the inspect before the time runs out. We land the green inspect.
Oh no, not General.
And General takes the shot. And again, a little bit premature, right? I guess I didn't see what General was doing, but I was just expecting for that to go into overtime, possibly because the spy I was watching. But so General lands at statues at 15 seconds, and
yeah, he finishes his inspect, and then he picked up that briefcase that was by our statue. So I mean, it's basically the same finish that we did.
Right. Yeah, it looks like General probably would have entered overtime. So I'm surprised that we didn't wait for the beeps. Yeah. So a little bit of a premature shot, though a sensible one. I mean, I didn't count General's inspects and fingerprints, but as you said, it was a very similar mission win setup as we were having. So we'll see if JD can shake it off. Let me get the next one loaded up. And we're going to have JD answering back on Oprah in 3, 2, 1, planet.
And actually, General was one of the people that had the real banana bread also, so it was that's a pretty rough finish to have to make that decision. But you still can wait for overtime beeps.
Yeah, wait for overtime, and there was a couple, like Tflameee had missed pad on the way to statue on one of the side ones, is something that could have been noticed, and I'm not sure if he went for an attempted bug, but he pathed towards Amba like he was going to in kind of the last little bits there. JD picks up a fingerprint as first mission progress.
And I like this. This is a very AI thing to do, to actually follow them all the way outside and give it back.
Bad return, though. I don't think there's room, so Oprah probably should have stopped as soon as he landed in that convo. It looks like it's going to go mostly unnoticed. Obviously, we're not 100% sure, but I don't see much of a reaction from Tflameee.
Yeah, I think Tflamee's just using highlights for statues, but I do know that he pays attention to that kind of briefcase etiquette.
Gotcha.
And pathing. But just getting a little bit of mission progress wherever we can right now.
Yeah, one flirt up to 34%. Our ST leaves, and honestly, I think that this party is busy enough that we don't need to hang out here. I'd say leave and go chase your ST.
Yeah, it would have been nice if Salmon was doing what he's doing right now. It was still there. To just have cover for that bug, but not going to happen.
We're going to break idle animation to chase our ST over to the side pad and pick up our next flirt to 64%. I believe our arms were crossed when we left that combo there.
And I hope that JD hits a green on his third flirt, because I don't want another heartbreak. I don't want a 98% here. Wow, again with the action test microfilm, and it's basically invisible. Sniper zoomed in, but Alice's head is right in the way of that arm. I like the play to do action test microfilm on gallery. It's not very common.
Yeah, it's risky though. I mean, there's a reason it's not common, right?
Yeah, the head turn is just death because the sniper zoomed in. But
and on gallery, it's particularly hard because you can get away with green by kind of hiding on the right side of the case, but getting away with the blue microfilm is a whole different feat. I mean, you can take it out front, but then you're investing so much time. You do it on the pad, and it's just terrible. And go ahead and take a look at that flirt percentage.
It hurts. It hurts to see it twice in one match, especially.
Yeah. I mean, I think at this point you've got to swap. We're just gonna run out of time if we try to get this statue visit without a swap.
Yep, and we white swapped, and it was definitely during the second cycle, and Tflameee knows it.
Yep, Tflamee's all over it. And I feel like I have the score wrong, but we should be 6-2. Is that the last gallery, right?
Yep.
Okay. So I had it right. So we're going to be heading 6-2 into the first single-picked venue, which is going to be my favorite, High Rise.
And I might restart. I don't know if it's going to or not. I'm assuming that the mission setup is incorrect.
Well, we'll find out. Let's see. In 3, 2, 1, playing it. The reason that you're saying that, just for the audience, is we have contact off, which is very atypical in terms of a mission loadout, and it's possible that Tflameee just forgot to adjust them. However, Tflameee does like to be a little atypical and a little bit weird in the way that he plays SpyParty, so it's certainly possible that he meant to do it.
That's true. I mean, he makes decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're very unique, but I don't know about transfer and swap being on right now. That seems like you're going to do bug, inspect, seduce.
Yeah, I mean, I certainly wouldn't choose this mission loadout. It's also possible that he's just going to play it not knowing that I think it is valid to restart if your missions are wrong, I believe, rules-wise.
I think so, yeah.
Plus, I mean, I don't think his opponent is going to give him a hard time, especially if you notice it, at the beginning of the match.
Yeah, the way that usually goes for me is I try to get a fingerprint on something that I'm almost 100% sure should have one, and for some reason it doesn't pop up, and I'm like, I don't know why I didn't get this, and then I see that it's just turned off.
Mm-hmm.
And then you realize, oh.
And this feels like a little bit of a rush, not a hardcore rush where he's just getting green pearl and green swap, but he's not respecting etiquette on some of these decisions, or at least the timing that he's staying at each mission site. That whole book process felt a little fast, and I have a feeling that he's gonna dump this book and try to get flirt and get something else. I think he's trying to finish with a decent amount of time left on the clock this round.
Yeah, in general can get a bug here, but he takes a very AI-like path in front of the ambassador there. Just saying, I'm not bugging, there's a book in his hand.
Yeah, it lands in the center of the conversation almost here. Finishes up flirt, and we've got a minute 20, so I think we're going to dump this book, but I'm not sure what our other mission is going to be. Maybe middle statues. We go for the bug, which I believe was pretty well covered. I was looking at it from Spy side.
Yeah, there was no way to see it. I mean, he did a little bit of a shift for switching to neutral idle position, but okay, he knows where the book's from.
Yeah, JD's not having this weird high-rise setup. He said, I don't care if you turn off weird stuff and try to confuse me. I know that transfer's on, and I'm just going to keep track of where the books are from. So.
Yeah, and JD not playing nice. He's going to go ahead and do a more standard mission setup, which I cannot blame him for.
Yeah. So we'll have JD on Sorry with transfer, swap, and purloin off, a much standard setup on this venue in 3, 2, 1, playing it. Much more standard. You typically see a swap between purloin and fingerprint, those two alternating, with transfer and swap almost always off.
Yeah, I mean, it varies basically just depending on the sniper for me on if I have fingerprint on or purloin on. Other than that, swap and transfer are never coming on.
And we pulled a book pretty fast from JD. I don't believe we respected the amount of read etiquette that was needed to leave. And it's I don't know, it's very curious because there's no reason to do it with transfer being off. You just risk getting caught. It will give us a reason to reset our flirt cooldown, which it looks like JD is going to use now.
Yeah, I kind of love it at the start of a game on High Rise because that activity to the blue bookshelf when there's no fingerprints available and transfers off, it's almost the most non-suspicious thing you can do.
which then kind of makes it suspicious. But
Yeah.
such a spy party, yeah, no, it's a good move. It's kind of two-folded. You get to make your flirt cooldown reduce faster, as well as kind of lose suspicion, even if you didn't have any. You go to a lower suspicion territory because it appears that you're just wasting your time with books. So, pretty beneficial.
So JD was definitely obligated to get that briefcase when he came out of the books, but I think he was focusing too much on the action test because he went almost all the way to the Amba that's at a statue
Yeah,
before he
that
said,
can happen. That happens to me, honestly. Or it used to. And we path into statues and we take a bit of a wide path. We actually kind of took a wide swing all the way around the first pad to land on the second one, when I believe that he should have just cut across the first one and landed on the second. Not sure how much it was noticed by Tflameee, but JD does pick up a fingerprint on that statue. So we've got some decent mission progress, and we're in a position to get a silent finish if we want, if we can find that next fingerprint, but we are going to contact the double agent, eliminating that possibility.
and I'm shocked that Sorry isn't shot right now. Yeah, he's nodding his head right now, the sniper cam.
Is he?
He wants to shoot Sorry. Yeah, she missed the pad on the way into that conversation, too.
Ah. So Tflameee probably in a position here where he's just waiting for JD to show close to a mission complete. I mean, Tflameee knows that he has half of an inspect. Could have fingerprints done though. I mean, at this
Yeah.
point, Tflameee might need to shoot.
Yeah, he's kind of playing with fire. I'm assuming shooting on this talk,
Right.
but not yet.
A bit of a premature leave. It looked a little bit fast, at least from sniper side. Tflameee watching JD closely, and if JD had landed that earlier fingerprint, we would be in mission win. And Tflamee's not even going to wait for the statue pickup. He's going to go ahead and take the shot onto Sorry. And I believe that's going to put us at a 7-3 final score.
Yep.
Maximize so we can see it here. Yeah, so that's going to be Tflameee taking the set 7-3. It was a little bit back and forth at times. On gallery, it looked like JD may have a shot at kind of turning the momentum, but overall, I think Tflameee was just a little bit more disciplined in his timing of the rounds and kind of pacing, which can make a huge difference overall. So.
Yeah, I think in almost every single one of Tflamee's spy games, we see it with a minute and 10 left, a minute and 20 left. He's got progress on every mission and is ready to just finish two at the very end and force a shot. And there was a couple wrong shots when he forced them.
Yeah, it's one of those things where I hope JD goes back and kind of watches some of his gameplay, because a couple small decision changes and he could be putting himself in much better positions towards the end of the game. Like that whole situation we were talking about on Ballroom where he waited with the DA for so long and then didn't contact, could have saved himself 15, 20 seconds, which was enough to put himself in mission win countdown, as he had almost reached it by the end of the game before the timeout.
Yeah, and that's the 99% game. So
exactly. Well, nonetheless, thank you for joining me. Congratulations to both players for competing. Congrats Tflameee on winning, and that's going to be the set between Tflameee and JD.